Greetings, metalheads, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and today I'm back with the latest installment of bands you need to hear. Another recommendation of a freaking killer band that if you're not familiar with, you've not checked out their music before, not come across them before, maybe you've heard the name and never actually delved into the music, then you need to rectify that and check this band out. It's freaking great. So, today's band in question, the band you absolutely need to hear, a very interesting band that I have been steadily getting more and more into over the last year or so, I think. Certainly was really hooked on their 2023 album, but unfortunately, I didn't really get into that until the very sort of latter part of 2023. I didn't actually even get a physical copy of the album until earlier this year, a couple of month or so ago. But actually, this band is brilliant. This is a real standout band. And over the last year or so, I have been delving as far as I can into the sort of blackened heavy metal, blackened thrash, blackened speed metal variants of blackened something fast and heavy, as getting into as many different bands of the standout bands of that kind of niche subgenre as I can, with bands like Destroyer 666, for example, or Disaster from Germany, Midnight, sort of US speed metal, heavy metal, black metal project there. But the real standout, or one of the real standouts for me, comes from right up north, from I believe sort of Aberdeen, Scotland. Founded in about 2014, according to the Metal Encyclopedia. If you haven't guessed by now, I'm talking about the wonderful, awesome, diabolical, and mystical, and evil Hellripper. Interesting band in the sense that this is a one-man project, in fact. This is the creation, the musical, demonic birth child creation of James McBain. Multi-instrumentalist and an all-round friendly chap from the brief correspondence that I've had with James, tracking down merch. So from that brief encounter, and also from just, interviews that I've read with the guy, seems like a very switched-on musician and a fantastic musician at that. Cannot fault Hellripper's music one little bit. It's freaking brilliant. So this, as I was just showing off here, this is the debut album. So there's 3 full-length albums within this band's catalogue. And there's a whole host of EPs and splits and all sorts of stuff like that. So there's plenty of music to delve into. And really freaking quality music as well. But as I say, this is the debut, and I believe this was from 2017. This is the CD format, so this is the little booklet that I've just lifted from the case there. It's a nice little package. This is a Peaceville Records album. As James Hellripper is signed to Peaceville. This is a reissue from 2022, so this is proper modern. But what I've also got here, if I can pick it up, is one of the most recent additions to my Hellripper collection, and a prized piece, actually. Because not only is it a bloody good album, a strong, ripping frickin' album, but it's also a really nice vinyl. And I prefer this particular cover here because we've got a massive logo. Really stands out. That's bold. It's just a black vinyl, so I'm not going to fight it out of the inner sleeve there. But this really nice package. This is really cool. I love that. It's almost like a bit of a biker emblem there. Hellripper, Scotland. Nice insert to this. It's also just a good opportunity for me to show this nice little recent addition to the collection off. So this is a Diabolic Might Records, if I can actually get the inner sleeve back in there. Diabolic Might Records repress, I believe. A very nice piece, though. A very nice addition to the collection. So the music itself, certainly on this album, this is fast and loose and ripping. It's definitely black metal at its core, but it is full of classic sort of heavy metal, traditional heavy metal elements, speed metal elements, and also it's thrashing pace at times. To me, there's different kind of little elements, different little bits and pieces here and there that remind me of the bands that are obviously going to have influenced Hellripper and contributed to the direction that this music has gone in. I'm picking up early, energetic, raw, and absolutely blistering speed Metallica in there. I'm getting the classic speed metal, black metal style of the mighty Venom. I'm getting plenty of rock and roll Motorhead style in there. I'm getting some of the heavy metal madness that we would expect from some of the early Nwabum bands, and also bands like Merciful Fate or King Diamond. Maybe not in terms of the King Diamond-esque vocals, but even James's vocals are solid. He's got a real spite-filled kind of snarl to him, a real shriek like a banshee, and a great extreme metal vocalist, no doubt at all. So this album is a short, sweet debut, Coagulating Darkness, in case I forgot to actually mention the name there. Packed full of brilliant tracks. I believe it clocks in about 28, 29 minutes, something like that. We kick off with the brilliant Bastard of Hades, which is one of the main kind of moments where it reminds me of classic Metallica, early Metallica. I'm talking like the raw Kill 'Em All stuff. Other particularly brilliant ones, we've got Analyse. I'm not really quite sure on the pronunciation there, but freaking brilliant. Within the Everlasting Hellfire is a proper speedy beast of a track. From Hell definitely brings like Motorhead to mind, Venom, Black Invocation, the brilliant closing track, title track in fact, Coagulating Darkness, is a real standout. It's absolutely monstrous. It's a great album. It's a real thrash attack at times, but it's also got those brilliant grooves and melodies that we can headbang and toe tap along to. As I say, that's the debut. If we fast forward a few years, got two versions. If we fast forward a few years to 2019, again, I've got another recent addition to my collection. This is an EP entitled Black Arts and Alchemy. Again, this is very solid. This is a very good, short and sweet little release. I haven't seen this available anywhere else other than directly from Hellripper, from James himself, hence the correspondence that I mentioned earlier. And this article was from the Bandcamp page, along with the Diabolic Might Records Coagulating Darkness vinyl. So it's just a nice little jewel case, but haven't seen it available anywhere else. So if you are already a Hellripper fan, or if you just want to get into them in a big way and show your support, frickin' get over to that Bandcamp page and pick the last remaining copies up. Strongly recommend. This is a great EP, as I say. Really enjoy this one. It's short and sweet. Brilliant track in the form of All Hail the Goat. Absolutely fantastic. You've got Decrepit Christ, rather. Black Arts and Alchemy. Again, they're not pulling any wild stylistic changes here. Or I should say James isn't. Hellripper isn't. It's keeping that kind of speed, honest approach there. Not reinventing the wheel, just fast and furious, blackened speed. There is a great cover actually, and I believe it's the only cover to feature in on any of these albums and releases that I've got at this stage of Hellripper. Running Wild's Ironheads closing the album there. A good song. It's from I believe it's from the death metal release, the very early release, part of like a compilation, I believe, from Running Wild. Legendary German, rather, it's a US German power metal, pirate metal pioneers, basically. But at that stage in their career, very early on, they were very much following the same sort of path in their worship of Motorhead and Venom. So with albums like Gates of Purgatory, for example, Running Wild were essentially a speed metal band then. So it's a good choice, and it's a really good cover. Very good indeed. Really enjoy that. So this is the 2019 EP Black Arts and Alchemy Very nice indeed. The following year, we get an absolute stormer of an album. This is The Affair of the Poisons, which is absolutely brilliant. I bloody love this album. This is a very good album. Again, it's a Peaceville Records album. Solid as a freaking rock. This was actually the first album from Hellripper that I heard. I believe that it was from reading lots of high praising reviews, lots of praise for this album and for Coagulating Darkness and just for Hellripper in general, but this is a belter. Again, there's a lot of the honest and true speed black metal elements in there, true to that sound and style. However, that said, there's a lot more going on. I feel like there's a definite progression between Coagulating Darkness and The Affair of the Poisons. It's darker. I would say that at times it's leaning more towards black metal, but again, there's real thrash parts in there. The title track kicks off the album, and that's an absolute belter. Spectres of the Blood Moon Sabbath is freaking heavy. That's a really good one, but it's proper bulldozing heavy metal. You can chug a beer in seconds and headbang like a lunatic to that. Then we've got the superb Motorhead speed attack of Vampire's Grave, which is brilliant. We've got the very thrashing Beyond the Convent Walls. We've got Savage Blasphemy, I should say. Hexenact, Blood Orgy of the She-Devils. Great song titles. And one of the best tracks is the closing, The Hanging Tree, which is a very ominous kind of black and roll track. There's a little bit of that going there. It just sort of popped into my mind, really. There is a slight resemblance of some of the more black and roll era Darkthrone albums as well in here. So it really is a good mix. There's nothing bad in here at all. So that's the brilliant The Affair of the Poisons. As I say, 2020 full length, absolutely freaking brilliant album. Great cover as well. Dark, evil. Perfectly reflects the music. So then that brings us relatively up to date with the last album, the previous album, 2023, the absolutely fantastic, absolutely brilliant. We can't get enough of this one recently. I've been listening to this over and over. Warlocks, Grim and Withered Hags. Now this is a real stunning album. Again, there is an enormous progression. I know it's been 3 years, but there's an enormous progression between The Affair of the Poisons, which is a brilliant album, and this absolute masterpiece. This is, so far, in my opinion, Hellripper's most accomplished moment, and it is absolutely stunning. So good, in fact, that I couldn't help but also pick up, in addition to the CD format, pick up this rather delightful tape copy. Again, this was from Hellripper's Bandcamp page. Very nice indeed. Nice little black shell. High quality little package. And I am very tempted to pick up the t-shirt on the Bandcamp page, which features the artwork of this, because I love that kind of dark arts, mysticism, diabolical, black magic, evil, all that good stuff. So let's talk about the album then. Massive progression, definitely. I would say this is a very sophisticated black metal, heavy metal album. There's some very fast-paced parts, less in the vein of kind of really out there thrash pace. I would say this is definitely more of a Blackened Speed Metal album. There are faster paced moments, but there are also moments that are far more reminiscent or resemblant of classic heavy metal, traditional heavy metal, but with that great James vocals over the top, and that by this point, very iconic and identifiable Hellripper sound. They've definitely honed their sound, or James has, over time, and it's recognisable instantly as being Hellripper. And I don't think that's just because I've listened to these albums an absolute ton. But this album kicks off with an absolute stormer in the form of Nuclearve, not quite sure on the pronunciation there, so I'm probably murdering it. And it's hard to necessarily interpret it or translate it correctly from the lyrics, but hey, it's a great way to kick off an album. Fast-paced, stomping, grooving. Then we've got I the Deceiver. Again, it's leaning more towards the kind of blackened style there. It's very Venom. Warlocks, Grim and Withered Hags, the title track. That is a longer number. It's about 7 minutes plus, I think, but it's an absolute fantastic track. It really is. It's very sophisticated. It's a brilliant composition, and it really does stand out. Then we've got just a succession of brilliant tracks. Goat Vomit Nightmare, which is fantastically named. Absolutely love that. We've got The Cursed Carrion Crown, which is brilliant. Again, it's very Venom. You know, by this point, you'll be familiar with what you're going to get. But it's still an absolute brilliant track. The Hissing Marches, again, it's a creepy number, but it's freaking brilliant. Poison Womb, The Curse of the Witch, and then the final closing epic, because it's much more of an epic track, which has some far more aggressive vocals, more like death growl vocals incorporated in there. We've got the Mester Store Worm. Brilliant. Heavy as hell. And what I will say is a real refreshing kind of characteristic of Hellripper is that it's not just the kind of fast and loose, lo-fi buzzing riffs that we got with classic Venom. You've also got some fantastic lead guitar work and amazing, blinding, red-hot solos. And certainly on Warlocks Grim, you've got some absolutely stunning solos and leads. It really, really is a brilliant composition. I would say that probably of all three, this album definitely boasts the most sort of musical ability and accomplishment. But I think that's a natural, obvious progression. But an absolute stunner, start to finish. Not a bad album here, not a bad track. It's all absolutely pedal to the bloody metal, neck-breaking, heavy metal, Blackened Speed Metal stuff. Absolutely brilliant. I love all these albums. And there is also a kind of compilation of the debut EP, I believe, and a few other bits and pieces called Complete and Total fucking Mayhem, I believe. Might be getting that wrong, but that has been unavailable for a little while. However, it is being reissued by Peaceville Records at the end of March 2024. So I've already pre-ordered a copy because I love Hellripper and I'm a massive completionist. So I need that in my life. But all of these albums, fantastic. You need to check them out. And alluded to placing a recent merch order. I got a killer long sleeve, but I didn't plan this very well because it's in the wash currently. But I have got this to boast, this lovely white, this is currently the only white t-shirt I have in my rather extensive t-shirt collection. We have a very awesome looking Reaper bestial design there. And I think this was something like £10. Okay. Show your support. Go and pick one up, for crying out loud. All hail the goat on the back there. Absolutely brilliant. It's a lovely thing. And I look forward to terrifying neighbours and locals alike with this particular delight and the rather excellent long sleeve as well. I do love a long sleeve, and it's got the name Hellripper down both sleeves. Really looks the part. So if you're looking for some Blackened Speed Metal, Black Thrash, heavy metal, if you're looking for some just outright bloody brilliant metal, Hellripper is a band that you absolutely need to hear. Check out the Bandcamp store, pick up some awesome stuff. You can get all the albums in various different formats. I think you can only really get Coagulating Darkness on vinyl on their store anyway. I've never seen it anywhere else. But you've got this fantastic debut, just alluded to there. That is definitely one for your thrashers. That is neck-breaking. We've got the brilliant Affair of the Poisons. Elsewhere, prior to that, of course, we had the Black Arts EP. And then, if you're going to only check out one album, I recommend, if you're going to play it like that, it has to be this one. Warlocks Grim and Withered Hags, start to finish, all these albums are brilliant. So, there you have it, my friends. Are you a Hellripper fan? Are you not? Have you heard them before? If not, check them out. Hopefully I've convinced you by now. Check them out and let me know what you think, because I'm very interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others. This is essential listening for any Motorhead, Venom, Midnight, Deathhammer fan, Destroyer 666 fan, whatever. Go and check it out. I'm sure you'll love it. But thank you very much for watching, my friends. Please do feel free to comment, like, share, interact, subscribe, really do appreciate all of the involvement and all the communication and support. It's very much appreciated. Check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy things. But until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves and stay heavy.